this video of Storyland, we are looking at the death of ELISA LAM, and what might have been the cause of her death. Bear in mind that, these are purely my imagination and thoughts on what might have happened to ELISA LAM. If you like our content, make sure to hit like and subscribe. On February 19, 2013, the body of ELISA LAM, a student at the University of British Columbia, was found in a water tank, atop the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. The 21-year-old ELISA LAM, for her trip to California, traveled alone on Amtrak and intercity buses. She visited the San Diego Zoo, and posted photos taken there on social media. On January 26, she arrived in Los Angeles. And after 2 days, she checked into the Cecil Hotel, near downtown Skid Row. LAM was initially assigned a shared room on the hotel's 5th floor, however, her roommates complained about what the hotel's lawyer would later describe as certain odd behavior, and LAM was moved to a room of her own after 2 days. LAM contacted her parents in British Columbia every day while traveling. On February 1, 2013, the day she was scheduled to check out of the Cecil and leave for Santa Cruz, her parents did not hear from her and called the Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, and then her family flew to Los Angeles to help with the search. Police searched the hotel to the extent that they legally could. They searched LAM's room and had dogs go through the building, including the rooftop, but the dogs were unsuccessful in detecting her scent. "But we didn't search every room, we could only do that if we had probable cause to believe a crime had been committed," said Sergeant Rudy Lopez. During the search for LAM, guests at the hotel began complaining about low water pressure. Some later claimed their water was colored black, and had an unusual taste. On the morning of February 19, Santiago Lopez, a hotel maintenance worker, while inspecting the water tanks, found the naked body of ELISA LAM. A week before this shocking find, LAPD released a video of the last known sighting of her, taken in one of the Cecil's elevators by a video surveillance camera, on February 1. In approximately 2.5 minutes of footage, LAM, alone, makes unusual moves and gestures, leaving the elevator at one point while its doors remain open, even after she appears to have pressed every button. When the doors fail to close after she returns, she leaves, then the doors close later. Several theories evolved to explain her actions. One was that LAM was trying to get the elevator to move in order to escape from someone who was pursuing her. Others suggested that she might be under the influence of ecstasy or some other party drug, but none was detected in her body. Some also theorized it as a paranormal phenomena. When her bipolar disorder became known, the theory that she was having a psychotic episode also emerged. There was no evidence of physical trauma, sexual assault, or suicide. Toxicology tests showed traces consistent with prescription medication found among her belongings, plus non-prescription drugs such as Sinutab and ibuprofen. A very small quantity of alcohol, about 0.02 grams per cent, was present, but no other recreational drugs. Investigators and experts have however noted that the concentration of her prescription drugs in her system indicated that she was under-medicating or had stopped taking her medications recently. And the case finally concluded accidental. There were several issues risen following the investigation of the case, and their conclusion. Issues like, how she got to the roof of the hotel, as the only door of entry was locked and only staffs had access codes for the door. It also had a loud alarm if anyone tries to force the door open. Apart from the question of how she got to the roof, others asked if she could have gotten into the tank by herself. All 4 tanks were 4-by-8-foot cylinders propped up on concrete blocks. There was no fixed access to them, and hotel workers had to use a ladder to look at the water. They were protected by heavy lids that would be difficult to replace from within. She had a blog on Tumblr, Nouvelle Nouveau. This blog was updated since her death, as her phone was not found either with her body or in her hotel room. It has been assumed to have been stolen at some time around her death. Whether the continued updates to her blog were facilitated by the theft of her phone, the work of a hacker, or through the queue, is not known. Okay, so here is what I think might have happened. Please note that it's just my imagination and point of view. So before we get into ELISA LAM's death, there is one thing I want you guys to know. It's about the hotel she was staying, the Cecil. Built as a business hotel in the 1920s, the Cecil faced significant financial difficulties during the Great Depression of the 1930s and never recaptured its original market, as the neighborhood around it eventually decayed in the later decades. Several of Los Angeles' more notable murders have happened at or have connections to the hotel. In 1964, Goldie Osgood, the Pigeon Lady of Pershing Square, was raped and murdered in her room at the Cecil, a crime that has never been solved. In 2015, while researching the Cecil Hotel for an article for CSET, researcher Hadley Mears claimed that in 1947, Elizabeth Short, dubbed by the media as the Black Dahlia, was rumored to have been seen drinking at the Cecil's bar in the days before her notorious and unsolved murder. Serial killers Jack Otterweger and Richard Ramirez both resided at the Cecil while they were committing murders. There have also been suicides, one of which also killed a pedestrian outside the front entrance of the hotel. So all this is enough for a normal person to believe that the hotel might be cursed or haunted, right? So my theory about this case is twofold. Number 1. In the clip where she was seen in the elevator there was a couple of things you should notice. While entering the elevator she wasn't in any hurry or in panic, and it was also the case while she pressed the elevator buttons. While researching about the case, I saw a video by Derek Van Schaik, a YouTuber. He pointed out some things like while pressing the buttons, she might have accidentally pressed the hold button which will hold the doors of the lift from closing for some time, and he also noted that while her room was on the 5th floor, she was entering the elevator from the 10th floor. So for what reason did she went to the 10th floor? You see, the history of Hotel Cecil is not that unknown, so surely ELISA would also have heard these stories. So what if she just went to tour around the hotel? We humans are a curious bunch after all. If she was trying to look around the hotel it makes sense, how she ended up on the 10th floor. Also, it might explain why she started pressing all the buttons of the elevator at once. It will relieve her from the confusion of which floor to go next. The floor where the elevator takes her will be her next floor to look around. So imagine you were her, and you heard a lot of scary stories about that hotel, and once you are alone and far away from any people you are familiar with, no matter how brave you think you are, you will start to waver, and at the same time the elevator door refuses to close. Even though it was she who pushed the hold button without noticing. As said earlier, she was suffering from bipolar disease, and depression, and as per the post-mortem reports under-medicated. Isn't this scenario enough for a psychotic episode to kick in for someone like her? Even a healthy person might not be able to stay cool in these circumstances. This will explain her odd behaviors in the footage. What if she was imagining to see someone, and for some reason she followed that imagination into the rooftop? There were fire exits that lead to the roof which can be accessed from a window, and the police dogs are said to follow her scent to a nearby window on the hotel. And on the rooftop for some reason or because of some other hallucination she jumped to the tank undressed. Maybe she was trying to save someone in her mind, or maybe she wanted to swim. And now gasping for air she tries to get out of the tank, and as she tries to hold on to something she also pulls her dress into the tank. You see, as per Santiago the maintenance worker, the lid was open when he found the body. The second possibility I think could have happened is, you see, there were also rumors about criminals around the area choosing this hotel as it was quite cheap. And everything happened as I said in the first possibility up until her getting out of the elevator did happen. But what if someone was witnessing these events, someone with ulterior motives? He might have used this chance to take advantage of her vulnerability, and lured her to the rooftop, finally murdering her accidentally or otherwise. This theory came to me when observing the clip of the CCTV more clearly. The clip felt like trying to project her psychotic episode and a paranormal phenomena into the mix, especially when details like the timeline of the footage seemed tampered with and the part where the lift closes after she leaves was clearly edited, etc. And of course the stolen phone which was never found. I think if someone did kill her, he or she or they might be using the hotel's infamous reputation to misdirect the eyes of everyone from the truth. And of course these are just my imaginations and thoughts on how it might have happened. What do you guys think might happened on that day? Tell us in the comments. Thank you for watching. Until next time. Bye.